Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the program thus far. Today's topic we're going to speak about is your social circle and environment. These two things are absolutely vital for your success in sobriety.
100%. I know for me that if I wanted to have any success in getting sober, and before I ever was serious about getting sober, I needed to get situated with basically who was I willing to hang out with? Was I willing to part with people in my life that weren't healthy for me? And what kind of people was I striving to be? And what type of people was I striving to hang out with?
Yeah, see, this is the number one resource in your life. Your social support system is always going to be your biggest resource in life. So if you're hanging out with people that are dragging you down, well, that's about as far as you're going to get. If you're hanging out with people that make you want to be a better person, strive for success, and overachieve past where you are now, you'll always grow. But this is so important who you surround yourself with. So, what I want to ask you is probably one of the most important questions that anybody will ever ask you is who are the 5 people that you hang out with the most? Are they valuable? Do they make you strive and be a better person? Or are they the people that you go out and get high with? Because you become the people that you hang out with the most. So if you're hanging out with Johnny the Junkie or Stevie the Street Corner guy, you're going to become that. It may not be overnight, but through osmosis, by being around them, we are so adaptable as humans that we become our environment. Do you ever hang out with somebody and they totally use like a weird slang word that you never used, like the word lit?
Then you start using
I never
it a
thought
week.
I'd ever use the word lit. Oh man, that's lit. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. A few months later, by hanging out with a bunch of people who say it, I now use it. That's the same idea as if Johnny's putting needles in his arm. You may not do needles now, but eventually, if you keep getting exposed to it for long enough, guess what? You're going to end up with a needle in your arm.
Right. There's a saying I like, and it's you make enough trips to the barbershop, eventually you're going to get a haircut. And it's no different with people. We do end up becoming the average of the 5 people that we hang out with the most. And this is also not just limited to our social circle, but the people that we live with. We really have to take a serious inventory of who are we surrounding ourselves with. And one of the things that I really struggled with was I had true bonds. I had true friendships with the people that I grew up with and that I got high with. Unfortunately for me, it turned into negative, toxic relationships over time. And it was hard for me to make that separation and kind of take a step back and come to the realization, like, am I valuing my friendships more or my own life? And the thing is that I basically had to get to the point where I had to be okay with negating people that were negative in my life, even if that meant being alone and isolated for the time being.
Yeah, that's an awesome point. There's certain people in your life that you're always going to love, no matter how toxic they are, no matter how detrimental they are to your lives, but love them from far away. You don't have to be in close proximity to all the people you care about. If a person in your life is very toxic and creates you to use or triggers you in any type of way, love them from afar. Give them a call every holiday. Send them a card. You don't have to be around them all day long. This even goes for your siblings or mother or father. If they're the reason why you use, then do not be around them. If you want to give them a call once in a while, love them from there, but you have to protect yourself before you can help anybody else. And if something is bad for your life, then you need to find ways to remove it or help the situation.
And it's about getting honest with yourself too. Like, I did have close bonds, close friendships with some of my boys, but if I was being honest and I asked myself a few questions like, do I actually trust this person? If I had a stack full of money out in the open left with this individual, would I second guess the amount that would be there when I found it? You know what I mean? Like, these are things that you truly got to ask yourself. And if you can't truly trust the people you hang out with, then that's enough of an answer for you alone, you know. Because today I will not associate with people that I don't respect or trust or think is loyal. I just don't have time for it because I respect myself. Really, our social circle is an indicator of how we view ourselves and what we feel about our own lives.
Excellent point. See, what this leads into my next point. I'd really like to start an activity with all of you. I want you to pull out a piece of paper and draw a circle in the middle of the paper. And that's you. And then start putting people in your life that are really close to you in the closer circle. Draw a circle and put the people that are most close to you in that circle. And then outside of that circle, the people that you are less close with, and so on and so forth. Then I'd like you to take an inventory of the people specifically that are closest to you. And ask yourself those questions. Are they trustworthy? Do they have a future? Do they positively reinforce your bad habits or good habits? Or create you to do bad things? Do they add any value to your life?
Are they loyal?
Are they loyal?
Do they have integrity?
Yes. Because we want to take a whole inventory of all the people around us. So write a number down next to that person from 1 to 10. Do they fit all those criteria? Or are they somebody that you're holding on to that necessarily serves any purpose in your life? And I want you to take an inventory of all the people in your life, from the closest people to the furthest away. And how would you rearrange these people when it comes to offering your time, your energy, your effort? Are there people you need to push away a little bit? And are there some people that you need to pull closer to you because they're really important and really valuable into your life? See how well you've done so far. See, you can switch and arrange the people in your life like this. But the first part of this is to be aware on who you should be around and who you shouldn't.
One of the first things that you need to be thinking about is, where are the places that you hang out? Where do you spend most of your time? And with whom? And I know for me, one of the things that comes to mind is I was a big troublemaker. You know, I don't
Still
know.
are.
Yeah, seriously, I do. I still have some of that fun, personality to me. A lot of people think that you lose your personality in sobriety,
No.
and they have no idea what they're talking
It
about.
amplifies.
It's
comes
true.
out.
It's true. You
Yeah.
just find different ways to direct it. But I think about who I was, and I was a troublemaker. And so, what did I end up attracting? I ended up attracting the troublemaker kids, and we'd end up. We were always up to no good, and even when I was a young kid, I would tell my parents, I'd be going to the movies. We're going to the movies, and that was our excuse to get
Code words.
Yeah, exactly.
To get high.
Yeah, it was a quick $20, and what we would do is we would go run around the town, breaking into cars, and just doing crazy stuff at 12, 13, 14 years old, and so. Where are the places that are going to be triggers for you, and where do you spend most of your time? If you're spending a lot of time at the bar and you think you're going to do that when you're clean and sober, I think that is a losing proposition, and I highly recommend you don't do that.
You got to figure out where you usually hang out. What are the places that you normally hang out with now? And ask yourself, can you do these activities? Can you be in this place sober? Because there's a real close correlation to you using and to the specific places that you got used to using at. And they may become triggers. So you have to be able to navigate through your life and figure out where you can hang out, what you can do that's not going to trigger you to use, especially early in sobriety, because people, places, and things, it always boils down to those things. So if you can avoid the places that made you get high, avoid the people that made you get high, and avoid doing the things that got you high, you're in a pretty good position to stay sober and clean. One of the other things we always talk about is when you're early in sobriety, you're always have this inner dialogue in your head, and you want to quote unquote test yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've been clean 3 months. I can hang out at a bar.
Right.
I'm not going to drink.
Yeah.
I'm good now. I'm 3 months clean. I don't want to do this anymore. Let's break this down very, very simplistic. What are the options of outcome in this scenario?
Right.
One,
grunt through it, and you don't get high or you don't drink, but you think about it
the whole time.
Yeah, and you battle yourself.
Number two, you might potentially, maybe have a decent time. But you're going to be, like he said, thinking about it every second of the way.
And the other option is that you do end up relapsing. That you do end
the
up getting
more
high.
than likely option, I would say 65, 70% of the time, is that you're going to have one drink, or you're going to have that one drug, or you're going to do that one thing.
And we know how that one turns out.
We know how that one turns out. There's no such thing as one. It should just go 3, 5, 7, 10, 300 when you're talking about use.
But there's a hidden zero behind the one.
Yeah.
There's a couple zeros hidden behind there.
So the best possible option is you don't use, but you think about it the whole time, which is moving you closer to, guess what? You guessed it, using and falling into the same paths and the same patterns that you've been doing over and over and over again. So why would you test yourself? What are you proving? The best thing can happen is exactly what you're doing right now.
Right.
The worst thing that can happen is you fall out into a full-out binge into your favorite flavor of drug of choice.
And it takes one time. Here's the thing too, you can trick yourself when you're in these social situations. I've done it myself, and I said, I'm just gonna have one. I'm just gonna take one hit, or I'm just gonna do one line, or I'm just gonna have one drink. And here's the problem: once you set off that ignition, and in your mind, it's all go from there. And you don't know where you're going to end up. So in your mind, you could dress it up to where, I'm just going to have one. I'm just going to have a social drink, or I'm just going to have one hit with my friends. But the problem is most people, you don't know where that's going to end up, and it can really set you up for a whole cycle later down the line.
So the next thing that I'd really like us to discuss is something so important, and even people that aren't using don't have these healthy things, and that's boundaries. Mm-hmm. Boundaries are so important in every relationship, in every situation, because there's certain areas of your life that should be none of somebody's business, or you're uncomfortable to share that space with somebody. And you should be able to set clear boundaries where you start and where other people can begin. Because if you're not setting up boundaries, people are going to be invasive into your life. And if they're toxic especially, they're going to eventually get you to use, eventually to make a poor decision, eventually be able to influence you in some kind of way. And when you're early in recovery, you really, really want to focus your eye on the prize, because anything that can distract you is going to be detrimental to your success in sobriety.
Yeah, and another thing too is it might not even be toxic people in the sense that you get high with, or people that you might have had issues with your addiction or alcoholism with. These can be people like parents, other family members, spouse, that if you don't establish boundaries, you're going to end up becoming resentful, and you're going to end up becoming angry because you're not being true to yourself. And a lot of people who struggle with this, I certainly did. I used to be a people pleaser. I used to have a hard time establishing what I was comfortable with, and usually it comes from fear of judgment. It comes from fear of not being accepted, and these are things that we constantly need to work on, because if you're not comfortable in your own life, you're going to be living a lie one way or the other. And if you're not living your truth, you can't fully become your best self and live to your potential, especially when you get resentful about people that are in your life. Really, the resentment is about yourself, because you're not being true to who you are.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than being resentful towards yourself. There's guilt involved, there's shame, there's aggravation, there's so many bad, negative emotions that come with that. So make sure that you set yourself a safe environment so you can operate freely on how you want to operate. Make sure people aren't stepping into your space and influencing you in a way that's going to put you in a bad headspace. Very, very important. Another thing I want to ask you is, what kind of people do you attract in your life? Now, this is a very, very important question because the people that you attract in your life is usually a reflection of yourself.
No doubt.
If you're attracting thieves and addicts and people that are untrustworthy and all of these bad things are happening to you, before you look at anything else, you have to look yourself in the mirror. See, like, why am I attracting these type of people in my life? Why is my personality and my energy that I put off to people allowing these type of people to come into my life? See, you need to become what you want to attract. You're not going to have a thousandaire mindset and attract millions of dollars. You're not going to attract that beautiful girl, that beautiful boy that you've been thinking about this whole time if you can't add value to their lives. You need to become what you want. That's why we spoke about personal development and creating yourself before you look outward. Because you want to be able to add value to any circle of people that you desire and choose to be around.
Yeah, and it's a great point. I think I look at like what I used to attract, and I used to, because I had low self-esteem and I didn't have my boundaries and I didn't know really what I wanted in people. I kind of just flew by the seat of my pants and just kind of ended up with whoever, and it didn't really set me up in good spots. And I think people really have a hard time establishing who do you like? Do you like this person? I used to never ask myself when I meet someone now. Just to give you a little bit of background, I'm a very social person. We were talking about this before. In the gym, I'm always talking with people. I'm always interested in how people operate and who they are. But I also am coming from a place where I don't need anybody in my life. I'm wondering if I actually like this individual. I'm seeing, do I like what this person has to offer? Do I feel like maybe we could build a good relationship, or is this a good possible friend for me? And this is important because I'm not worried about do they like me. I'm more worried about do I like them, and is this a person that is a positive influence for me? It's a different type of mindset completely.
So we're talking about all of the people that you attract, but now we want to look outward and say, what people do you want to be around? And where can you find these people? It's very, very simple. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. But figuring out where you want to find these people and what kind of people do you want to attract is a very important question. Because if you hang out in junkyards, you're going to hang out with junkies. If you're hanging out in circles of people that know how to grow and better themselves and help one another and truly know how to have a good time, your life is going to reflect that. But who do you need to become to attract those type of people in your life? Because I'll tell you, people with millionaire mindsets are not going to hang out with you if you have a thousandaire kind of mindset. You have to level up. You have to find a way to add value to the people that you want to attract in your life. Is generous and as philanthropic, whatever that word is, a person may be, they're not going to always be picking people up. You have to meet them at their level, or at least start rising to that level. Because people click together for specific reasons. They have something in common. They have a similar mindset. They have a similar goal. Or they have a similar hobby. So what do you really want to accomplish in your life? What do you love to do? What kind of people do those type of things? And where can you find them?
Right, and it's what comes to mind for me is, which I mentioned before, is the gym. I mean, I love taking care of my health. I love taking care of my body. So I like to get to know people that are in the gym. And because I know that there is a commonality, there is something to say. There's something to be said about somebody who takes pride in their health and who they want to become physically. There's a lot of discipline involved with that, and I think it shows who you are before you even get to know somebody. So that is a place where I'm very social, and also I love the Mets, right? I love the Mets. I love baseball. That's one of my passions. So, in the world of social media today, it's very easy. You could join Mets pages and whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, and just you got to think outside the box a little bit. Where are groups in your area where you can meet people and have a commonality, and maybe find some people that you wouldn't normally meet. I mean, the internet is a huge place of abundance where you can meet any type of person. So it really is important to think about what type of hobbies you like and the things that you like to do for yourself.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Figure out what you love. What do you love to do? And then ask yourself, how can I get involved? It could be as easy as he just said, joining a fan club or a Facebook group or signing up for something. But you first got to get really crystal clear on what you love to do and what you want to surround yourself. Because I think I've said this 100 times in this program. Happy people don't do drugs. If you create a life that you love to live, you'll never need drugs to live it. And that's absolutely important. And the fact of the matter is, you're the artist of this beautiful masterpiece we call life. You're the only person that has say in where you end up and what you want to do. Now, your actions and decisions have consequences, which you're probably very aware of if you're taking this program so far. But it's also the positive effect of it. Your decisions can have excellent and amazing rewards. You are literally the designer, the writer, and the artist of your life. Start taking control and design a life that you love to live. One of the most important exercises, I think, just about for anybody to do is very similar to a gratitude list. But in this exercise, I want you to really list all the people that make you very, very happy, all the places that make you really, really happy, and all the things that make you really, really happy. If you think about it, people, places, and things is part of your social life. And it is the biggest trigger when it comes to relapsing and using. So if you have a list of the people that are really, really good in your life, make sure you find ways to hang out with them more often.
Yeah, it's very basic.
Yeah. If you have places that you really love to go to enjoy, make sure you get to those places very often.
As long as they're not the bar.
It's not the bar. Or the plug. Or the trap house. And things that you really, really enjoy doing. Make sure you have a list of those. See, by having a list of these 3 things, it'll really make your life so much easier to navigate and keep sober. A big thing is really having a bunch of different places that you can be to fill up your time. As my good friend Connor here said, the gym. The gym is a fantastic place to live and to hang out.
I do live there. No, you're right about the living part.
It's great. I mean, it's one of those healthy addictions.
Yeah.
AA groups are fantastic. Some people like them, some people don't. But the fact of the matter is, you have a resource and a community that have the same objective, is to stay sober. And you know what? Not for nothing, they have a lot of good times. They go to the bowling alley. They go play darts. They go to concerts. Yep. They go out to eat all the time. They drink a lot of coffee.
That's for sure.
And yeah, you find a bunch of people with like-minded things that you really get along with. What do you like doing? Do you like fishing? Do you like playing chess? Do you like mountain climbing? I mean, having that list of amazing things that you love to do.
Yeah.
But also getting yourself involved and get yourself dedicated to certain things. Make a commitment to something outside of yourself. Because if you do that, then you're starting to take your focus off yourself and you're transmuting it into something positive, whether it be a relationship, whether it be an activity, whether it be a cause. And that's what really gives your life meaning, is to plugging yourself into something bigger than yourself.
And something that is really important that I think a lot of people struggle with, I know I did, um, is how to talk with people that you may have been friends with for 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years that you can't have in your life anymore, and this was something I really struggled with because a lot of my friends that obviously were not healthy for me, the thing that I had a difficult time with was they actually did show loyalty to me in certain instances, like in my lows. Like I know when I went to jail, I know when I was in rehab, I know when I was in the deepest, darkest places of my life, these people did show up. So there was a little part of me that really struggled with that because I knew on one hand that these were people that I couldn't have in my life if I wanted to become sober. And then on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, but they were loyal to me as well. So how am I going to separate? And loyalty is very important to me as a person. So, um, there's a few different ways that you can do this. And I think one of them is just being straight up honest. And if people really do love you and care about you, they will understand that you have to do what you have to do. Your life always needs to be number one, more so than other people. And honesty is always the best answer because you don't have anything to remember. That's my philosophy. If I'm always being honest, I don't have anything to write down. I don't have anything I need to remember at a different time. And another thing that you could do too is I use this tool with family members specifically. When people are have things to say but are nervous about maybe approaching it, is writing a letter. It's writing a letter so you don't get interrupted. You get all your feelings down and thoughts on paper to where you can review it and make sure everything is said that you think needs to be said. And then you can maybe have a conversation afterwards. But the truth is that, listen, life is too short to be spending it with people that are not going to help us grow, like you talked about before. And a lot of people do struggle with this, especially if you're a people pleaser, But at the end of the day, the things that are difficult to do are usually the best things to do, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I always agree with you. I don't know, you have wise words of wisdom all the time, but he's absolutely 100%. The honesty is the best policy, and the fact of the matter is, if they can't accept that, then they're not really your true friends. They don't truly care about you because they would know deep inside their heart that you're doing this not out of hatred for them, but out of love for yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. So if they can't accept the fact that the only reason that you can't hang out with them anymore is because they make you more susceptible to using, then they were never your real friend to begin with. And it's really important. And you can even leave the clause in, listen, I'll always love you. I'll always care about you. I'll call you. I'll write you letters. I'll send you birthday gifts. I'm just not coming to your freaking house with lines of cocaine on the table. And one day, if you decide to stop doing that and you want to be in my life more often, I'm always here, but you have to do it sober.
And it's funny you said that because I have multiple friends that I ripped and ran with and did a lot of dirt out there. Let's say that I'm two of my best friends now. I got high with every single day, and both of them are sober now. And it's amazing how things do come full circle. Sometimes you need to look at things from a bigger perspective too. You don't know what your separation does to the people closest to you as well. And it makes people realize sometimes light bulbs go off like, wow, this person's getting their stuff together and I'm just like them. Listen, sometimes people are in denial and it might take them a little bit, but people take notice. And a lot of my friends did get clean after I did as well. And I'm not saying that I was the cause for that, but what I am saying is there is a time and a place where you can reunite again if it's supposed to happen. I've lived it, so I know that this can be the case. So you got to put yourself first no matter what, though.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this module, and I really want to stress the importance of how important your social circle is to your life. It can literally either make you or break you, and the decision is yours. There's always a way to navigate through this in the easiest possible way. Cut off the people that are not serving you. Try to attract the people in your life that are. How to add value. How to find the amazing things that you love to do on a daily basis. And literally designing a life that you love to live. This is a huge part for sobriety because a lot of people that are in active addiction think that sobriety is boring and there's no purpose to it. Fact of the matter is there's so much purpose and there's too much to do. Using drugs was just your way to escape from all that. Now you have to make the decision for yourself. Figure out what it is you want to live, how do you want to live, who do you want to be, and who do you want to be surrounded with. These are questions I leave with you, and if you answer them correctly, you will design yourself a beautiful